you'll probably want to be creating a lot of tests. So what about creating a live snippet for this, or just something, a live template? So we can actually insert this dynamically. And then what we can do that is we can just go and we can select that and go Control-Shift-A, live template, save as a live template. And now we've got our live template ready to go under the folder user, but we probably want to move that into another folder. So if you watched my last video, you found out how to use a live template. Let's create one for creating unit tests. So let's call this a unit test or something. So whenever we type in unit test and we type tab, it'll create this for us. Let's create a PHPUnit unit test. Great. So now we can reformatting this. We need to set the context to PHP, which it is. So that's perfect. And now we can go apply, and it applied the formatting for us. And now we need to set the function. So probably it's going to be function. It's probably going to be that. We need to whatever the name is will be this. So we're going to take the name of whatever it is. And remember, this is a special variable that will be appended. We can take any parameters. Now this could be blank or not. So, and we always need an act. Whenever we have three parts: arrange, act, and assert. So first we're going to put a little comment for arrange. And so our arrange will be here. We'll just put arrange for a live template variable, and we can just make this a little bit bigger just by doing this. And so now we can have our act, just like earlier. Oops, act, and we can have our assert right here, which is actually going to be what we have up there. So we'll just put a little bit of an assert, just so we know what's going on. We can make that a little bit nice and fancy. So, you know, likewise, we do the act. So we have our three sections here, and at the end we'll want to tab out to end that. So we can go apply. Now we have to change the variables, so let's do that. So default value, remember to use quotation marks as I mentioned before. So we'll just put name for now, and it'll be what the prompt is. We'll put params. Params will just put params, and then that would mean that if they don't want it, then they can just tab out, and or actually what we should probably do is just put that in there, just empty. And then if it's nothing, then if they want, they can just type something in. It's just a placeholder. Arrange, we can just put arrange here. Act, we can put act here, and so forth. And so we go OK and apply, and now we can easily create our next test. So we know that it fails. We put 1 and 1, and we can go once again. We can press Control-J and then test. Unit test comes up right away. We can start to say what the test name is. So let's say test. First thing we need to do is make sure that our method creates an instantiation of a user. So user must have at least a name. So user has name. Now we can set parameters. We don't have any, like you saw earlier. We didn't need that, so we have to arrange. So the first thing we need to do is create our new user, and this is what part of the arrange part is of a test. So we can go my user equals new, and then you're going to go user, right? And then that would be, I'll have to pass in a name for a constructor. So if we pass in nothing, we'd expect there to still be an empty null string for a name. We can press tab now. We can act. We don't need to act because acting is not necessary as logic is in constructor. Now you could also here just call part of a method that maybe is part of a constructor and then just do it like that. Now we have our assert, which we had earlier. We can go tab, and now we can actually find that if there is an instance of a user. So we found that our user is not a class because we never did name this, but let's assume that it is a class. How do we continue to write this? I always like to do one thing at a time. So this, once again, assert class has attribute or not has attribute. And what we're saying is we want to make sure that this class has a name. So instead of going over all the stuff about PHPStorm, let me just run it to show you that it does indeed work. So user is not found in that area. And that's because, once again, we called this demo test and we did all this. So if we actually fix that up, you'll be able to see that testing works and we are good to go.